rebounding. Got to get it in. Does to Smith. Jabari for three and the win. Yeah! He got it!
If you're a Rockets new, this is the Rockets Field Podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Lashard Binkley. And you can see again, I am in my car because I want to talk Houston Rockets and I want to talk the Rockets. 111-104 win over the Phoenix Suns. They're now 41-25. That's 4 games in a row. They've already equaled their win total from last season. There are 16 games left in the season. They are 3-0 in the current 6-game homestand. Very important because the team they are chasing, the Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies, continue to win. Even though the Lakers lost their last game, the first one without LeBron. He'll be out for a while. But the Memphis Grizzlies have won 4 in a row, and they're still a game up on the Rockets. So the Rockets have to continue to win to try to get that home court advantage for the first round of the playoffs. And they continue to win. Like I said, they won their 4th straight. They beat Phoenix yet again, just like they did a couple of weeks ago. A great defensive game. The game wasn't even as close as the score indicated. Rockets were up by 20 points at one point in the game, and they started to bring in the bench unit, and that's when the game got back within 7, but like I said, it wasn't even that close. And I specifically want to talk about Alperen Sengun because for most of the season, people have been saying that he's struggling from the field. He's lost his touch around the basket. They don't know exactly what's happening to him. And like I've been saying all season, a lot of it has to do with teams are playing him a lot more aggressive. Yes, they double-teamed him last season, but nowhere near as much as they double-teamed him this year. And also, yes, that has caused Sengun to rush some of his shots. He's also been dealing with injuries all throughout the season that he really hasn't talked a lot about. He's been dealing with shoulder issues. He's been dealing with back issues. So he's been dealing with different things throughout the season, but now it's like he's really getting about as healthy as he's been all year long. He had another great game last night. He had another 20-point game last night, 7 of 7 from the field. He was actually the first Rocket since Clint Capella to score 20 or more points and not miss a shot. So he's the first Rocket since 2019. That's the last time Clint Capella did it. So he has been on fire, and that's exactly what the topic of today's show is. We're going to be talking about Alperen Sengun's March so far. So far, he's played 6 games. He missed 1 game, of course, earlier in the month, but he's played 6 games in the month of March. And in the month of March, he's averaged over 21 points, 8 rebounds, and he's shooting, more importantly than anything else, he's shooting a blistering 68% from the field. That is a huge number for Sengun. Like I said, for most of the season, he has been struggling, especially around the basket. Of course, 3-point range, but he doesn't really take a lot of threes. But he had been struggling from the field, and up until last night, he had actually been shooting under 50% for the entire year. So with that 7 for 7 from the field, he is now over 50%, actually 50.2% to be exact. And like I said, to me, it seems like he's going a lot slower now. He's taking his time. He's starting to read the double team better than he did early in the season. Also, the double big line that I talked about in the last podcast has also helped him, even though it didn't help last night because Steven Adams was ejected when he got in can't really say it's a fight. They really just fell down to the ground in a sort of a wrestling match. And for some reason, they felt the need to eject Steven Adams as well, even though he really didn't do anything. But so they really didn't see much of a double big lineup last night, but it had been a major benefit for Alperen Sengun being able to go against smaller guys with Steven Adams on the court with him. So then, as I said, didn't exactly see it last night, but it has been paying off the past few games. And like I said, before the 4-game winning streak, Rockets had lost 3 in a row, but even before that, Alperen Sengun had been playing well up until that point. Like I said, it seemed like he's taking his time a lot more. He's not rushing his shots. He's getting in better position, which is also just helping the flow of the offense overall. And also last night, another thing that helped, even though Fred VanVleet didn't have a great game, it's a great game because he didn't get hurt. And it's also a great game because the Rockets only had 9 turnovers. The Rockets have been averaging 15 turnovers in the games that Fred VanVleet has missed this season. And they were down to the bottom 10 in turnovers since when Fred VanVleet misses games. So now that he's back, it seems like the offense has a better flow to it. Not as many turnovers. The Rockets have been turning the ball over a lot recently, so that was definitely good to see. And also, let's be honest, Phoenix is at the point where they're almost pretty much giving up on the season. Kevin Durant said after the game, like, the Rockets were able to get whatever they wanted to. It seems like if you put in more than one action up against Phoenix's defense, you pretty much get whatever you want. because they don't help each other. They don't rotate. They don't really seem like they want to be there. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Durant wants out after this season. That's a topic for another podcast. But Phoenix definitely did help them out by not playing really good defense. But like I said, it's not just last night that Sengun's been playing well. He's been playing well the last several games. Now he's over that 50% for the season, which is a big mark for him because he does take so many shots inside the paint. And like I said, now it also helps the Rockets have been shooting better lately as well. So takes a little bit of that pressure off of Sengun to where teams are still double teaming him, but not as hard as they were before. And also it helps when the Rockets can get out on the run because it helps when the defense is not necessarily be able to settle in. And Alperen Sengun was able to get to his spot a lot faster, which makes it a lot easier on him. And that's going to be the key for the rest of the season. Like I said, the Rockets are a game behind Memphis, only half a game behind the Los Angeles Lakers. They still have a game left with the Los Angeles Lakers coming up. So that may come down to whether the Rockets are going to be that 4th seed or the 5th seed. And I think it's very important for the Rockets just because they have so many young players like Alperen Sengun, who have never played in a playoff series. The Lakers, of course, have several players that have been there, done that. Same thing with Memphis. They've been to the Western Conference Finals with a few of the players that are still there, so they have that experience. Of course, the Rockets have Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet, but I'm talking about the main players for the Rockets: the Amen Thompsons, the Jalen Greens, Alperen Sengun, Tari Eason, Jabari Smith. None of those guys have been to the playoffs, so having home court advantage is going to be huge, and you're going to need that play from Alperen Sengun for the rest of the 16 games coming up. And also, I can't forget, even though this show is about Alperen Sengun, Jalen Green had a really good game, 29 points, led all scorers. You're hoping you see that March Jalen Green again that you saw last season, even though I don't think you're going to really necessarily need that because now you have Alperen Sengun. Of course, Alperen Sengun missed majority of March last season when he had that injury against the Sacramento Kings and missed the rest of the season. Now you have Sengun, of course, you're without Amen Thompson, but hopefully he'll be back in the next week and a half. The Rockets are supposed to be evaluating him after a week. Again, that means evaluating him, and then necessarily means he's going to be playing within a week. But it's a chance, with Amen being young, a lot of times they're able to bounce back from those ankle injuries a lot faster. I mean, we all remember James Harden. He used to have an ankle injury every other week, and it seemed like he never missed time. I don't care how bad it was. Somehow he was able to always come back from those ankle injuries. So, like I said last podcast, when I was at the last game, I saw Amen walking without the crutches. Still had the boot on, of course, that's a precautionary reason, but he was walking without the crutches, didn't have a major limp. That doesn't necessarily mean that, that the ankle injury is not severe or that he won't miss the week and a half or 2 weeks. But it's good to see that he still was able to walk under his own power without any crutches or without any help. So we'll see when he's able to come back. But again, the big story is that Alperen Sengun over the last 6 games has been shooting 68% from the field, and he's been great. Him and Jalen Green, of course, have been the Rockets' best player. And even though Amen is out, it really comes down to the season comes down to Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green. And let's be honest, the playoffs come down to Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green. Those two guys show up, the Rockets can win a first-round series. Those two guys don't show up, it won't really matter what else anybody else does because the Rockets probably will not win a series. Those two guys have been here both 4 years. They came out in the draft the same year. They have to be the ones to take the Rockets to the next level. So we'll see how that plays out. The Rockets play again on Friday against I guess you can still call them Dallas Mavericks. There's not a lot of them left. The other day, they only had 7 players on the entire team for an entire game. So we'll see who they even have coming up. Anthony Davis is definitely not going to be playing. Kyrie Irving's out for the year. Of course, for some reason, the Rockets are happy, but they traded Luka out of the division to the Lakers. So the Rockets play again on Friday. And before I go, let me know down in the comments, what do you think of Alperen Sengun play? Do you see him continuing to shoot, the high percentage that he has shot this month? Can he continue that for the rest of the season, regular season, and into the playoffs? Also, I want to say thank you to everybody. We reached 4,000 subscribers. Been a great journey. Started in the offseason 2023. Have been building up ever since, and I couldn't have done it without all y'all support. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, you're new to the channel, definitely welcome in. You go to the channel, you'll see we do everything from podcasts to pre and post game interviews. Sometimes I'm able to also get out workout footage before the games of different players that are going through their workout routine. I try to bring you everything besides just podcast. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and also like the video so we can get out to more people. And again, I appreciate the support. Make sure you check out the next episode of Rocket Fuel Podcast.